Drowning in jelly prints? Transform chaos into creativity in seconds. Are you tired of wasting precious creative time searching for that perfect print among piles of artistic chaos? Do you feel overwhelmed by the abundance of your jelly prints? Unsure how to manage your growing collection? Imagine having your jelly prints organized so efficiently that you can start creating at a moment's inspiration strikes, unlocking your full creative potential and making the most of every moment you have to create. Hi, I'm Sherry with Ratchet Your Art, and I'm participating in an exciting collaboration for January 2025, Declutter and Get Organized for Crafters. This event is being hosted by Cara Brandon Creations and Dana K. White, the best-selling author of the book, Organizing at the Speed of Life. During this collaboration, many crafters are sharing their organizing tips, and in today's video, I will be sharing how I organize my jelly prints. As someone navigating the demands of a corporate 9-to-5 job, raising children, and juggling family duties, I often find myself overwhelmed by external pressures beyond my control. The stress from these responsibilities could be suffocating at times. That's when I discovered the power of art as a form of stress relief, a way to bring balance to my hectic life. Creating became my refuge, offering a much-needed break from the daily grind, allowing me to reconnect with my inner self. Setting aside a time for creativity became essential to my well-being. When I started creating jelly prints, the joy of freedom were incredible. It felt like being a kid again, with no rules, pure creativity flowing through me. In those moments, the stresses of life melted away, and I found myself truly relaxing. However, as my passion for jelly printing grew, so did my collection of jelly prints and the chaos in my workspace. What started out as a stress-relieving hobby began to create its own form of tension, and my creative area became cluttered, and I found myself wasting precious time digging through piles of prints. Like many of you, I was already juggling work, family, and daily demands. Time had become a luxury I couldn't afford to waste. The problem was bigger than just a pile of jelly prints. It was about time stolen from creativity. When you finally carve out a moment to create, you don't want to spend half of it searching for materials or feeling overwhelmed by the mess. It's frustrating and can make you question whether you should be even creating at all. That's when I realized I need to find a way to maintain the joy and stress relief of my art while managing the physical chaos it creates. I decided to take control. I created a simple system for organizing my jelly prints that just didn't tidy up my workspace. It transformed my approach to art. By sorting prints into categories, I could quickly find what I needed when the inspiration struck. To help you begin organizing your jelly prints, I've included a link below in the description. This resource will guide you through your organization journey, making it easier to follow along and implement this system. Now let me show you how I organize my jelly prints. This is purely subjective technique. Trust your inner self. You can change your mind later, but for now, go with your first instinct. For this technique, I am using 3 folders, and we will separate our prints into 3 main categories. For each of the main categories, I assigned a colored folder. So the first pile we're going to talk about are the goats, the greatest of all time jelly prints. I assigned the yellow folder. These are ready to use at a moment's notice for cards, junk journaling, or standing on their own as a piece of art. To determine this pile, look for prints that have interesting layers, colors that look pleasing to you, and overall appeal. These prints are more elaborate and have multiple layers, and the colors are pleasing to the eye. Those are typically your goats. However, they can sometimes be what I call the bad news bears, but more about that in a minute. Now the second pile. This is going to be the orange folder, and I call this pile the diamonds in the rough. These prints need a little bit more work, but they have a lot of potential. They're great for collage fodder, collaging, or may just need some more work done to them. For example, adding more layers. They can easily be turned into goats, or it could go horribly wrong and become a bad news bear print. Either way, look for prints that have fewer layers and textures than the goat prints, but still have pleasing colors. Now finally, what I call the bad news bear prints. This we're going to use the red folder for. Now don't throw these prints out. They often become surprisingly favorites when you cut them down or use them in collage. Die cut them with just a little bit more work. They can be cards or even artwork. Now the guideline here is to look for colors that don't go well together. The layers are mashing up and basically you're thinking, OMG, that is one ugly print. If you think that when you're looking at a Gelli print, the chances are that's what I call a bad news bears print. It just isn't visually appealing. Now, while this may all seem like a difficult task when starting out, I find that after each Gelli printing session, I will evaluate the prints that I make into those three categories: the goats, the diamonds in the rough, and the bad news bears. And by doing this, it cuts down on organizing them later. I basically organize as I go. This keeps your collection organized and up to date. Now remember, this system isn't about hoarding every print, but efficiently using what you have and transforming chaos into creativity. So when sorting, trust your instincts. If you think, I might ruin this print if I use it, most likely that's a go. And while diamonds in the rough prints may need a little bit something added to it, and those bad news bear prints are those that you find, well, ugly, sorting will change and evolve over time. And once was a bad news bear print could easily become a goat and vice versa. While there aren't specific mistakes in sorting, it's all subjective and it's based on individual artistic expression. I find that I am often afraid to use my goats in a piece of art because after all, Gelli printing is a monoprint technique, and that means you can't recreate that print unless you turn it into a digital print. But that's a topic for discussion another time. Once I separate all the Gelli prints into piles, the goats, yellow folder, the diamonds in the rough, orange folder, and the bad news bears in the red folder, I then take each of the piles, say for example the goats, and then I subsort them by similar colors. And then I store them in bins or drawers. This color coding system keeps everything tidy and allows for quick access. This additional level of organization makes finding the right print easier. By implementing the system, you'll spend less time searching and more time creating. Those diamonds in the rough and the bad news bear print piles, they become treasure troves of potential. Great starting points for new projects or adding layers to existing prints. You'll be surprised how often those two piles become the stars of your next masterpiece. I often find I like working with the bad news bear prints the most because the creativity is endless. Now, this organization system has saved me time and energy while rekindling my joy in art. It wasn't about stress anymore. It was more about freedom and play. And my organized prints became a collection of possibilities, works that could stand alone or be incorporated into something new at a moment's notice. Now that you know how to organize your Gelli prints, here are some questions I get about how to take care of brayers. To learn more about maintaining this essential tool for Gelli printing, go watch my video on brayer care and maintenance, and it will help you keep your tools in great condition, ensuring your newly organized studio stays productive and creative. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you have not already subscribed, please consider doing so. It would really make my day. Thank you for watching Ratchet Up Your Art.